Begin here then. The African National Congress is mourning the death of veteran Professor Stanislaus Skumbuzo Mzilankatha Sangweni. Sangweni passed on early this morning. The party says his death marks the end of a revolutionary life that was genuinely dedicated to the liberation of the people of South Africa. The ANC says the stalwart spent 30 years living in exile in Holland, Swaziland, Zambia, Kenya and Ethiopia. Professor Sangweni served as chairperson of the Public Service Commission from 1994 to 2009. The ANC has conveyed its heartfelt condolences to his family, friends and broader democratic movement. All right, for more reaction, we're now joined via Zoom by ANC's national spokesperson, Mr. Pule Mabe. Thank you so much for availing yourself to us, Mr. Mabe.
Afternoon, Sis Flo, and afternoon to your viewers. The African National Congress is indeed saddened by the loss of Professor Sangweni, who served the Public Service Commission from 1994 up until 2009. He provided shelter to the 1976 generation, spent 30 years of his life out in exile, has displayed great features of selflessness and dedication to the liberation of the rest of South Africa's people. We dip our revolutionary banner in this honor and have conveyed our solemn condolences to his family and friends.
Yeah, let's talk, Mr. Mabe, about some of the Prof's most notable achievements, but more so his contribution, as you mentioned briefly, his contribution to the struggle for freedom in our country.
Professor Sangweni comes from that rare generation which was part of the emancipation of our people fighting for freedom at a time when it was not fashionable. Even when he left to spend time in exile, he still provided shelter to those of our cadres that went out of the country fleeing from the apartheid regime. Yeah. They knew that at a time when the country gets to be liberated, they will have to all go back, make sure that they place their energies in the service of their people. This is what they fought for. He's a freedom fighter. We learned of his passing in the early hours of this morning and joined many others in this country to convey our own condolences. He also created a culture of ethical leadership in the public service as the chairperson of the Public Service Commission, having served in that body since from 1994 up until 2009.
Yeah. Mr. Mabe, you know, we're just talking about some of the countries he had to flee to, you know, while he was in exile. And though you briefly, you know, passed your condolences to his family, I think a deeper sort of condolence message should certainly be sent from the ANC to the family, because I would assume that someone who's had to spend time in other countries and had to kind of flee South Africa was not only one belonging to his family, but had to be shared with the ANC at large, and really the struggle for freedom generally. And I wonder what message you then have for the family, in that essentially they would have shared him with you.
Well, of course, I mean, we have said the family must know that the loss of Professor Sangweni is not just a loss to them, it is a loss to the people of South Africa and to all of those frontline states where Prof. Sangweni also went to spend his own life. The generation of June 1976 would also recall and remember him in that way, having given shelter to all of them, having embraced all of them, and having given them the courage they needed to continue with the good fight. The family must know that all of us are with them and are sharing in their pain. What we all have to do is to pick up the spear, make sure that we tell the next generation of the role that cadres like Professor Sangweni played in ensuring that we have got a strong culture of ethical leadership within the public service. We have got a strong culture of dedication from amongst those that they've got a responsibility to lead and provide guidance in our own movement and in institutions of state. It is that kind of discipline displayed by his generation that has built this magic country to where it is. We all have got a responsibility to take over from there and continue on that right path.
I mean, he just passed away, of course, this morning, so can't imagine you have a lot of information at this time about tributes, memorials and funerals and so forth, but perhaps you can tell us how the ANC as a party plans to then pay tribute to Professor Sangweni.
Well, the African National Congress has already begun today. We have issued our statement conveying our own condolences. Last year, at the start of COVID, we also created an online memorial platform, ancmemorial.org.za. What the platform does is that it gives us an opportunity to share the history of those of our stalwarts that shall have passed on. We use this almost like our own virtual heroes acre, so that people can understand that the history of the ANC not just belongs to those that are leading the African National Congress today, but there are many others who might have fallen, who made an indelible contribution in the life of the African National Congress. So Professor Sangweni's life would also go into our own online memorial site, so that we could share with the youth and many others that would love to share in his story. Of course, if there are plans that would then become aware of working together with the family, what the ANC normally does is that when there are funerals or the passing on of its own stalwarts, we normally give the space to the family. Once the family are done with their own programs, we are then able to make sure that we infuse the work of the African National Congress or the memorial program of the African National Congress into the desires of the family.
All right, Mr. Pule Mabe, thank you very much for your time and your message then from the African National Congress on the passing of Professor Stan Sangweni. Thank you.